So the OnePlus 6T is the latest flagship phone to launch from OnePlus and their first device to be launching with a major US carrier, which would give the brand a lot more general awareness amongst the average consumer. But that's really besides the point. Does this hold up as a flagship phone, and is it worth $550? Let's get into it. So the 6T is another one of OnePlus's incremental upgrades from their primary flagship phones that they launch in the summer every year. And with the 6T, there aren't too many big upgrades over the 6 that dropped in July earlier this year. But the primary thing is this new display. They've really slimmed down the bottom bezel, and this top notch here has got a much more circular teardrop design. It really makes the phone look a lot more futuristic, and in my opinion, it's one of the most unique design choices to come out of a flagship phone this year. Arguably, the biggest upgrade on the OnePlus 6T over the OnePlus 6 is this new in-display Fingerprint Reader. And this is pretty much the first true major flagship smartphone to launch with one. There have been like a couple of concept phones at trade shows where they showed off the technology, and I really didn't think it was ready, but OnePlus apparently did. Honestly, on a day-to-day basis, I have a 50-50 success rate of opening it within a decent time, and overall I feel like they could have waited a year, just kept the regular fingerprint sensor, just to have a nice and fluid experience. I really feel like this is more of an experimental feature, and like I said, they could have waited a year to improve on the technology a bit more. But overall, you know, it's here now, so we got to deal with it. And it does look pretty cool when unlocking it. They have these like little animations you can switch between. I kind of think some of them are cheesy, but overall, it's a pretty good feature. Another new major change with the OnePlus 6T is the removal of the headphone jack. OnePlus was basically one of the last flagship smartphone companies to retain this on their phones, and now it's gone and for good. This is something that the OnePlus community was pretty angered about, but for me, I'm pretty happy about it because with the removal of the headphone jack, they have space to put in a much bigger battery. And while looking at it on a number standpoint, it isn't that big of an upgrade. The day-to-day use has been phenomenal. It now has a 3,700 milliamp hour battery as opposed to a 34 one on the OnePlus 6. And the day-to-day use, like I said, has been phenomenal. I can easily get 7 to 8 hours of screen on time. It's been really great. Now, from a hardware standpoint, the differences between the OnePlus 6T's camera and the OnePlus 6 camera are pretty much identical. It's still got the same dual lens setup. From a software standpoint, there are a few new features. They now have a feature called Studio Lighting, which is supposed to basically make your photos look better, not really showing you how. It doesn't really look that noticeably different to me. I've tested it out quite a number of times. I really think this is false marketing based on the way they presented it in their keynote. But there's that, and there's a new nightscape feature, which is the same thing as Pixel's night mode, where you could take a picture in a really dark setting and it's supposed to brighten it up with improved sharpness and detail. It's really hit or miss. I made a couple of videos about that on Android Police. You could check those out. But overall, yeah, from a software standpoint, minor improvements, but just as a camera in general, the OnePlus 6T's camera is fine. It's never been on the level of, let's say, the iPhone 10 and especially the Pixel 2 or even 3 XL. But it's a perfectly usable camera. HDR performance is pretty good. Dynamic range is fine. Sharpness, detail, all of that is around a 7 out of 10 in my opinion. It's something that'll definitely get the job done, but won't blow you away. So a few other nitpicks I have with this phone in general is that there are 2 speaker grills, but audio only actually comes out of one. The iPhone does this as well, but I still don't feel like OnePlus should be excused. I feel like it's a real tease, and if they're gonna put grills right there, why don't they put speakers behind it? Because the speakers on this phone are just okay. They could be a lot better, especially with what's out there on other phones like the Razr 2, the iPhone 10 and 10s, and even the Pixel 3 XL. So I haven't had too much to rave about with this phone, so you're probably wondering, why should you buy it? Well, there's a simple answer. It's value. This phone costs $550 unlocked, which is half the price you would pay for something like an iPhone 10 or a higher capacity model Pixel 3 XL. This phone can compete from a performance standpoint with the best phones out there. Like I said, the iPhone 10, the Pixel, Razr phone, Galaxy S9, Galaxy Note 9. The performance on this phone rivals them all, and at half the price. This is one of the fastest phones I've ever used. The 6 was the same. And you're really getting a solid phone for the price. The camera is great. The display is sharp. Battery life is phenomenal. And like I said, you're getting this all at half the price of any other flagship phone. So while I wouldn't call this a 10 out of 10 device in any stretch, for the price you pay, this is definitely the best option you could get. And if you have $500 or even a little bit more to spend, I would always point you in this direction. That's about it though. Let me know what you guys thought of this review and if you would consider purchasing the OnePlus 6T after watching. Let me know if you guys have any comments down in the comment section down below, and subscribe for future content like this. That's about it. I'll talk to you guys in the next one, hopefully pretty soon.